The filings reveal disturbing financial irregularities, okay, with Jermaine Shermock. That's how he files it. He doesn't file it under Dr. Umar. It's Jermaine. Okay.
The bank told me to enter my 16-digit card number. I did that. They told me they had no record of my account. They had no record of my account.
You heard the rumors about Dr. Umar Johnson allegedly being arrested, all because he been scamming and scheming for the past 20 years. He been working on building the school, but he acquired millions and the school's still not up and running.
The FBI just tore down Dr. Umar's whole empire with brand new federal charges that could lock him up for decades. We're talking RICO, tax fraud, and wire fraud. Heavy stuff. The crazy part? Investigators claim they've got receipts linking straight back to all those donations he pulled in under the banner of building a school. Now Dr. Umar is scrambling, because smooth talking won't save him this time. And the big question everyone's whispering is the same. Is Dr. Umar a fraud, or is he being framed?
Why, Dr. Umar is not a real person that anybody should be taking any advice from. I hope that we all understand that, but it seems like some folks are surprised.
Before diving into these charges, let's talk about the exact moment Dr. Umar realized he was about to be locked up. And trust me, he did not take it well. He jumped on Instagram Live and started spazzing, claiming the system was out to destroy an innocent black man who just wanted to uplift his community. Normally, Umar's rants feel like business as usual, but this one hit different. He wasn't just loud, he looked rattled, almost like he just walked out of something traumatic. The way he was stammering and pacing, it didn't feel like the same confident Umar at all. And then came the bombshell. He admitted his accounts were frozen. Now it all clicks, because those very accounts are tied to the federal fraud case that could bury him for decades.
Dr. Umar has access to no money right now because my personal account contains all of my money. I only send it to Apple Pay and PayPal as necessary. So the Prince of Pan-Africanism, for the first time in my life, is without any digital currency. So for my loyal supporters out there, if you can spare a few dollars so I can take care of Queen Mother Ifa Tunde and myself until my bank account is frozen or canceled so I can get my money back and open up a new account, please hit my Apple Pay or hit my PayPal.
Fans had no clue at the time, but it later came out that Dr. Umar filmed that video right after the feds told him to turn himself in. If you watch closely, you can literally catch the split second he realized his whole hustle was about to collapse right in front of him. Reports say Umar eventually turned himself over, but not without sending word to his inner circle first. His instructions were crystal clear. Keep it low-key. No cameras, no statements, no press releases, nothing at all. He wanted to slip in quietly because he knew if the spotlight hit him during that surrender, the fallout would get ugly fast. And that's when his worst nightmare started creeping in. The world finally seeing him as a scammer. But what he didn't see coming was the feds leaking damning documents. And right when he thought he could bury the drama, Tasha K popped up with her infamous receipts. Tasha K laid it all out in a recent YouTube video, breaking down exactly what Dr. Umar's been doing with his so-called charity. She went straight for the jugular, exposing the truth about his so-called school. And here's why that's a game changer. The FBI's indictment specifically lists those missing donations as hard evidence in the fraud and racketeering case. And Tasha wasn't just tossing around rumors. She came with cold receipts, facts and figures that make the whole situation look dirty. According to her, Umar's been skimming money straight from the donations to fund his personal lifestyle. And when pressed for transparency, he flat out refused to account for where the rest of the money went, all to dodge taxes. That's exactly why the feds are circling him now. Pay attention to the numbers she dropped, because together they tell a story that's impossible to ignore.
According to IRS Form 990, the filings reveal disturbing financial irregularities, okay, with Jermaine Shermock. That's how he files it. He doesn't file it under Dr. Umar. It's Jermaine, okay? Now, the nonprofit shows assets of $634,436 as of 2024. This is what he's saying that he raised. This is what he reported.
And she didn't stop there. she continued to rip into Dr. Umar and presented more proof.
Now, you know he go begging inside of that car without a haircut every other day or on the side of the building in which he lives in, because they say his house is right there on a row house in Philadelphia somewhere, okay? According to the IRS filings, this is inconsistent reporting of contributions, okay? Now, while official filings show that only $321,408 in total contributions over the last 5 years, evidence suggests Johnson raised significantly more through other channels.
For context, Dr. Umar has been asking for money to build and open this school for years. And let's be clear, it's not like he had his own funds and just needed a little backup. Every single cent that went into this so-called school came straight from the public. And as if that's not shady enough, Umar has never been transparent about how much money he's collected or where exactly it's gone. Instead, he jumps online demanding African Americans abandon the public school system and instead pour their dollars into his school. To many, this looked like a straight-up hustle. Even the name of the school raised eyebrows. Umar has publicly claimed he's a descendant of Frederick Douglass. But here's the kicker. He's never proven it, and the Douglass family has never recognized him as one of their own. Still, plenty of people didn't see it that way and donated their hard-earned cash to his dream. But somehow, the school doors never open. Every time a launch date gets close, suddenly there's another setback, another excuse, another delay. Is it all just bad luck? Maybe. But with the feds circling and all these fraud allegations, it looks more like Umar himself has been orchestrating these never-ending delays. The latest delay wasn't just suspicious. Prosecutors are now using it as proof that Umar staged excuses to hide the missing money. In June, tied to his federal fraud case, he claimed there was a so-called vandalism at the school building that destroyed library artifacts and educational supplies. But here's the catch. None of the actual building was touched. The damage was just serious enough to justify pushing the opening back another year. To sell the story, Umar even posted a video of himself interrogating a group of kids, trying to make it seem like they were the culprits behind the vandalism. And here's the wildest part. He put that video online without ever getting consent from the kids' parents. Now prosecutors are pointing to the stunt as yet another shady move in his crumbling empire.
While I was on the live, the children had snuck into the school. For children to know that a door is opened and I was only away from the school for 30 days. I wonder when they broke in. Because if the children already know the door was open.
Police couldn't even figure out what really went down, and the only so-called evidence that a vandalism even happened was that short, sketchy clip Umar himself decided to post online. And let's be real, nothing about that so-called vandalism looks serious enough to shut the school down for an entire year. Something wasn't adding up, and the questions started pouring in. One viral comment summed it up perfectly. Where's the proof of this damage? Charged vandalism? Were you insured? Why haven't you posted even one picture showing the vandalism? Or is the real vandalism you and this whole project? Another person who said they were familiar with the banking system even called out his story about frozen accounts, saying it was horribly flawed. A few weeks later, the real story behind the delay finally surfaced, and Umar had no way to defend it. Turns out, he hadn't been paying vacant property registration fees or even basic utility bills. Because of that, the property had been facing auction for weeks, and reports said it would be officially up for sale by August 25th, 2025 if he didn't pay up. So what did Umar do? He flipped the script. Instead of owning up, he went on the defensive as usual, crying foul and claiming the dues were punitive and discriminatory. He even tried to spin it like the state was plotting to shut his school down. And of course, he leaned back on his usual playbook, asking for more donations and trying to guilt people into believing he was being unfairly targeted. According to Tasha K, doctor, Umar's entire playbook of begging for sympathy and crying discrimination was just a tactic to dodge jail time. But if you thought that was bad, wait until you hear about the leaked federal documents that blew the lid off Umar's PayPal scam. That's what really showed him the feds weren't playing this time. The leaked report claims Umar raked in over $1.5 million in donations through GoFundMe and PayPal for different charity causes. And it wasn't just about the school. He attached himself to all kinds of causes supposedly meant to uplift the black community. But here's the shady part. Nobody knows where that money actually went, or what these so-called charities ever accomplished. And whenever the heat turns up, Umar does what he always does, hops online with another dramatic video, claiming the system is out to get him and warning the black community not to believe the critics. Meanwhile, the money trail is looking messier by the day.
GoFundMe campaigns, all right, that he's been suspended from through 2014 and 2015 of over $400,000 raised before the account suspension. That's a lot of money for GoFundMe, okay? PayPal donations, approximately $125,000 documented. Speaking fees and direct donations, estimated $750,000. This man raising all this money and ain't got a haircut yet.
And she didn't stop there. She continued to expose Dr. Umar, and the evidence was crazy.
Total estimated funds, 1.6 to 2 million that they can account for, and this is with them digging. They've been on this, okay? And we're gonna talk about how much they've been on this, and that's the reason why that damn school is on the auction block right now, vacant school that never opened. And he promised to open it in 2013 and kept pushing back the opening date and blamed us as to why it can't open, because black people can't stick together.
These tactics kept Umar afloat for a while, until people started pressing him with questions he couldn't answer. And that's when the spotlight really turned up. Recently, Charleton White straight up put Dr. Umar on blast, accusing him of preying on black women through emotional blackmail. He claimed Umar constantly panders to women, acting like their biggest ally. But behind the smooth talk, it's all about draining their pockets. According to Charleston, Umar's so-called support was nothing more than a money grab.
You mentioned Umar Johnson. I don't know what's going on with his school, but I know that
you know what's going on with the school. It ain't been built. Shit, ain't nobody seen the classroom. Just seen the flag hanging out, flying in front of that.
They've been talking about it for 15 years, 16 years or something like that.
He been lying. And results is everything.
Yeah.
Results is everything. I ain't never built nothing begging other than Joel Osteen, but his daddy passed him to church.
Yeah, that is true.
His daddy passed. I ain't never seen him build nothing big.
Charleton White wasn't lying. He was spot on. Dr. Umar parades himself as a champion for black women, even blasting men like Jonathan Majors for dating outside their race. But the moment those same women question him, Umar flips the script and hurls insults their way. The hypocrisy is wild, and it's finally catching up to him. And here's the twist. It's not just the so-called haters or critics dragging him anymore. Even longtime supporters are pulling back, demanding answers, cutting off donations, and quietly unfollowing him on social media. Some have even taken it public, openly calling Umar a crook and hinting he could be a straight-up criminal. One of the biggest shocks came from his close friend and ally, Tariq Nasheed. Tariq sat down with DJ Vlad for an interview, and he didn't hold back. When pressed about Umar's antics, Tariq admitted that he once believed in Umar's school project. That detail matters because if even his own allies are saying it out loud, it only strengthens the FBI's case. Maybe this was never about education at all, but about pocketing the money from day one. It all came down to fraud. What started out looking like a bold Pan-African dream slowly unraveled into a full-blown scam. Tariq even admitted he personally donated a large amount of money to the project. But his faith started crumbling once Dr. Umar began chasing social media clout, stirring up drama, and diving into conspiracy rants instead of focusing on the school. The final straw, they're falling out. Tariq explained it began when he tried to warn Umar about losing focus, but Umar wouldn't listen. And throughout the interview, you could see it. Tariq still had some respect for him, but also that dawning realization that Umar was shady to the core. And here's the kicker. The FBI had their eye on him long before the money scandals even surfaced. Umar had no clue he was already being watched. Back in 2018, the State Board of Psychology accused him of practicing without a license. That wasn't just embarrassing, it revealed a pattern of deception that investigators are now using to prove he's been scamming for years. Of course, Umar did what he always does. Deny, deny, deny. He claimed he was being unfairly targeted, whining about how his Facebook and GoFundMe accounts had been suspended for no reason. He ranted online, playing the victim to pull sympathy out of his followers. But this time, the receipts told a completely different story, and they were stacked against him. There are countless videos online of Dr. Umar playing the role of a shrink or psychology expert, using slick tactics to convince people to keep pouring money into his pockets. You might remember he even self-published a book called Psycho-Academic Holocaust, The Special Education and ADHD Wars Against Black Boys. In it, he argued that mental illnesses and learning disabilities were being misdiagnosed in black communities to target and discriminate against black children. But then not long after, Umar made a video claiming ADHD and mental illnesses weren't even real. That complete flip-flop exposed him as more than just inconsistent. It showed he was willing to say anything to keep his hustle alive. Denying that he ever practiced psychology only made him look like an even bigger fraud and raised questions about what other dangerous schemes he might be running. When federal investigators dug deeper, they discovered what many already suspected. Dr. Umar wasn't who he pretended to be. And now, it's all crashing down. The fake school, the frozen accounts, even his bogus psychology claims. Every scam he thought was buried is now Exhibit A in a federal case. The feds aren't letting up, his supporters are bailing, and the receipts keep stacking higher. Unless a miracle hits Dr. Umar's not walking into his academy, he's walking straight into a cell. And if you've been following this story, you know it's only getting crazier. So make sure you like, share, drop a comment, and subscribe for the next update.